Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. You wanna see us crash and burn, yeah. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm, yeah. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with the mob, I've been gassing and ducking the law. And I never wanna sit with y'all, I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter, I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level, yeah. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas, yeah. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Like Margello, yeah. I ride with the mob just like a good fella, yeah. God protect me, I was born a sinner, yeah. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner, yeah. Back to back with the mob, I've been gassing and ducking the law. And I never wanna sit with y'all, I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better, yeah. I watch for the people with the vendettas, yeah. I listen to mama, she said never settle, yeah. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. You wanna see us crash and burn, yeah. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm, yeah. Protect your name and just keep your word. The back with the mob, I've been gassing and ducking the law. And I never wanna sit with y'all, I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter, I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level, yeah. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas, yeah. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Like Margello, yeah. I ride with the mob just like a good fella, yeah. God protect me, I was born a sinner, yeah. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner, yeah. Back to bat with them mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she say never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life.
Testing.
Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. You wanna see us crash and burn? When you take a L, that's just how you learn. It's stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with them all. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Gas like Margiela. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back to back with them mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she say never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. You wanna see us crash and burn? When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Yeah. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with them all, I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna say.
Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. Just going to give it some time for some of you to join the live stream, and then we'll proceed. I think the sound is good enough. Just going to give it a few minutes before I start the market open breakdown and forecast for today's London session. But I'm currently in on a GJ long. This is based on the swing approach on the 1 hour time frame. Price is just in around my entry. I'd like to know what bias you guys have. So I'm back to the dark theme mode, which is actually what I'm used to. Let me know if you'd like to see the settings for this type of trading view chart. What bias do you guys have for today's trading session? We'll start the stream in a few. Okay, so welcome everyone, depending on when you join the live stream. We've just started the London session and I'm just about to start the market breakdown for today's London session. For today, I can see like we have some sort of corrective markets, which is very similar to what we had yesterday. We did not take any trades on the live stream yesterday, and neither did I take any trades after finishing the live stream. We were aware of high impact news coming out during the New York session with the PPI and the Fed chair speaking, and as we had expected, they really did result in a shake-up in price action, but I did not get involved in any trades, especially on the intraday, and neither did I even get involved on the swing. I got an entry, the one I'm currently on, as you can see, just today in the morning. Now, this was the push yesterday during the London session when we got the PPI and also the Fed chair speaking. Later on, we got this push, and so I was actually looking for possibilities on two pairs, GJ and Pound USD. Now, these were entries on the swing approach on the 1 hour time frame. So I might have to hold this trade for a few hours or even maybe overnight if we continue the momentum to the upside. But if in case we get a reversal, then I'm going to be tagged out maybe in 3 or so hours, or maybe even within 1 to 3 hours if the trade goes against me. Now, as I've said, these are entries on the swing approach, and I'm just going to break down the reasoning for taking this particular trade. Now, you normally know that, and I normally say that I look for imbalances in buying and selling pressure. And we got an imbalance in the buying and selling pressure, and this is very clear to see. Even if you don't know how to read price action, you can see there's something peculiar about this push. compared to price action in and around this area. So we had a market that had been ranging for, or sort of been in sort of a range in and around this high and this low. So it's not that clear perfect of a range, but we had this market that had been trending for a while. Then we got this deep pullback, and so once we got this deep pullback, market ranged here for a while. But yesterday, during the New York session, we had this strong break outside of this area here at the top, where I was expecting price to range, and was not going to get involved until it broke this area over here. And you can see how impulsive it broke. It's strong bullish candles, consecutive bullish candles. You can see strong bullish candle after strong bullish candle. Now we did get some reduced momentum here at the top, but this particular candle here was strong enough for me to be convinced that we might get continuation of momentum. Even though this last candle was small, that was not an issue. I was waiting for the pullback as normal. You always know that for me, whenever I get a market that has been in a consolidation and you get that initial push to the upside, I'm looking for an entry on the first pullback to take prices higher. And that is exactly what we got. Once we had this initial push, we got this sort of a pullback, and this is where I got my flag continuation entries, or a complex pullback entry. Now my entry trigger was at 3 a.m. London time or 5 a.m. Kenyan time, but as I had talked about previously yesterday, today in the morning we had high impact news being released on pound at 7 a.m. So I was not going to get involved until we got the release of this news release. And we did get the release at this candle over here. So after we got the release of the, it was GDP, I now got involved after a few minutes, and I was able to get entered at 219.403. So right now I'm currently running just slightly in drawdown, but as you can see, we had this impulsive push, got the pullback, waiting to see if we can go to get continuation of momentum. So this is a classic high probability entry. Now I was looking at two pairs yesterday as we were getting that impulsive push. We also had a push on pound USD. As you can see, we also came from this possible area where we just had very messy price action. And once we broke the high of this sort of range bound area, we broke with a lot of strength, which is what I like to see. And we did get the pullback here, and my entry would have been at this close of this candle. But the reason why I prefer to take the entry on GJ and not on pound USD is mainly because of this last candle in the impulsive push. This bearish candle with a wick at the top is not ideal. So in case I have to choose between two pairs, and both are pound denominated, I went with pound JPY. So I could have been able to take both trades. If this had been a strong candle close, bullish candle close, I probably would have taken both trades, because sometimes I can take two trades on one common currency, but I stick to only maximum to have two entries on one pair, just to limit my risk exposure. But in this instance, I've only taken one trade on GJ, which is now running in drawdown a little. as I've said, if the trade continues to push in my direction, I might have to hold the trade for a few hours, not even a few hours. I might even have to hold the trade overnight and manage it till tomorrow. But in case I'm wrong about the direction of the trade, then I'm glad to be taken out as fast as possible, maybe within 1 to 3 hours, with my stop at 219.103. So this is currently the only order that I have running, and it is a swing entry. So for today's London session, on the intraday, I'm actually looking at just two pairs, gold and silver. So I'm going to, as we allow this trade to continue playing out, I'm just going to break down the market forecast for gold and silver for this London session. So for that, we'll have to go down to the 5-minute. Now, with all these other pairs, I've seen like they are very corrective, and we'll need some time before we reassess. Now, this might be pairs that might provide us with a clear market structure maybe during the New York session. But for now, or for the first 2 hours of the London session, I'll be looking at gold. And the reason I'm looking at gold is because we've had this we have had this downtrending market since the Asian session. Got this pullback, we've got continuation, got a pullback, got continuation, pullback, we've got continuation. But I'm seeing signs of weakness in this push to the downside, so I'm waiting to see if we can get some sort of a reversal. At this moment in time, even in this just price action over here, I'm seeing some sort of a descending channel or descending nature to this price action. So we might continue pushing lower, but in this sort of manner where we're just breaking lows and retracing, breaking lows and retracing, and then we get the impulsive push, or we might even get the impulsive push any moment now. So my bias on gold for the London session for today will be to see if we can get some impulsive push, look for a pullback to take prices higher. Now, we have quite a distance before we get to this top, so that is really ideal. So for gold, I'm looking for longs. I'm waiting to see how we're going to break outside of this sort of a descending channel, see if we can take prices higher. And for silver, it's very similar sort of price action, but the most ideal setup for me will be on gold. In fact, I'm not looking to get involved with silver on further review. So right now I only have one pair on watch, gold. Let me just take a quick look at what's happening on crude, the Nikkei, the DAX, the NAS. Still, the NAS, I'll have to wait and see how we're going to break outside of this consolidation. So just leave that on green. That's just a pair to potentially have a watch on. But for now, I'm waiting to see if we can get some impulsive push coming outside of this sort of a descending nature on gold. You can also let me know what bias you have on gold. And also if you have any questions, or if you have any pair you want me to look at, let me know in the chat. So as we wait for the setup on gold, let me just go back and show you the entry that I have on GJC, where we are at. Now, I normally say that I have a hybrid approach. The swing approach on the 1 hour time frame is the one that I've traded for the longest. It's the one that I'm used to the most. So I know it might be a little bit overwhelming to try and execute both strategies, but I already have enough experience to be able to execute both. But it's very similar analysis of the market on both strategies. It's not like I'm executing two different technical analysis or ways of looking at the market. It's just similar, just on different time frames. Now with GJ, we are still in drawdown, but we're going to see how that is going to play out. As I've said, this is a pair I might have to manage for a couple of hours or even a couple of days if it goes in my favor. If it reverses, then I might be tagged out in a few hours. But as this continues to play out, let us look at the price action on gold and wait for the bullish momentum to kick in, which is what I'll be looking for. Now, if we do get this market turning into some sort of a bigger consolidation and we just continue moving sideways for a while, then I'll have to wait and see how we are going to break out of that consolidation, because if it turns into some sort of a range and we get a impulsive push to the downside, then I will also be look to see if I can get involved with shorts. But at this point in time, if we do get continuation of momentum to the downside, I'll not get involved. Right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm only looking for longs in gold, waiting to see if we can come outside of this descending nature impulsively. So as I've said, we might continue pushing lower for a while, just breaking the lows and retracing, breaking the lows and retracing, breaking the lows and retracing before we get this impulsive push. So it might take some time to play out. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today's London session? So remember, today we don't have any other news coming out. The only high impact news was at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. Kenyan time on pound, and now we have the entire day to trade without having any worries of high impact news causing spikes in prices. So today is a clear day. If we do get an impulsive push, if we get the impulsive push I'm looking for and we get the pullback, I'll be all over long entries. So I'm going to just allow this some time to play out, and I'm going to focus the chart on the pound USD trade that I do have. No, it's GJ, not pound USD. So we are in drawdown with this trade. Let's see if we're going to get tagged out. or if you're going to start pushing higher. Hopefully we can get a winning trade on the stream today. Like, even if this trade turns out to be a loss, this is a picture perfect trade with strong impulsive push followed by a small corrective pullback. So it's all about if the trend is going to continue or if it's going to terminate. If we get continuation of momentum or continuation of the trend, we have a really good chance of a real high RR trade or risk reward trade. I had a 30 pip stop on this entry. It was slightly a bigger stop than I would prefer, but you also notice that we had to wait for the release of GDP on pound. So I got in a little bit higher than where my entry would have been. So I had to just add a little bit more pips on my stop, which is just fine. So if you're joining the live stream, I'm currently in on this GJ trade. Trade is still in and around my entry, so in case you want to also get involved with this trade, you can take the trade at this moment in time and have a 30 pip stop. Now this is a swing entry that we might have to manage throughout the day, possibly even overnight. We might have to hold the trade overnight in case we start to push higher. But if you are to get tagged out, then we'll be out of the trade in a few hours also, maybe 1 or 2. So as I've said, the entry is still in and around my entry. I was supposed to get in at this level, had to wait a little for the release of some news. So the trade is still in and around my entry area. So in case you want to get involved and be on along with me on this particular trade, you can get involved and have a 30 pip stop. Currently I'm just slightly in drawdown. About 0.25% in drawdown. I'm going to repeat again. In case you're interested in being on this long with me, you can take the trade at this particular moment and have a 30 pip stop. Now, as you take the trade, you have to be aware that there can be two outcomes. Either it's going to be a win or it's going to be a loss. So that's why I make sure to always have a stop. And that's why you should also have a stop in case you want to get involved with this trade. Those of you who will be able to take the trade, let me know in the chat. I'm going to repeat again for those joining. I'm currently in on this long on GJ with a 30 pip stop. Price is just in and around my entry, so in case you want to get involved with a long entry or get involved with this trade with me, then you can take the trade with a 30 pip stop and make sure you manage risk accordingly. For me, I've risked 1% of my capital on the trade, so you can do the same. Don't over risk. So I've already broken down the reason for taking the trade, but just in case you're joining, we are looking for continuation of this trending, of this impulsive push, because now we believe we might get the start of a trending market, and this might just be the first leg of the trend. So once we get this such strong bullish impulsive move to the upside, even if you don't trade price action, I think you can clearly see there's something peculiar, unique about this push compared to price action on the left of the screen. So once we broke this high, once we broke this high over here, I was waiting to see if we could break impulsively, and since we've gotten an impulsive bullish push to the upside, I was waiting now to see if we could get a pullback, and I did get my entry trigger in and around 3 a.m. which was during the Asian session. But as I said, we had the news being released on pound at 7. So I waited for the news to be released, and then I got involved on this, I think the next candle or 30 minutes after the release of the GDP month by month. So price is still hovering around my entry. As I've said, in case you want to get involved, you can, but I always say you can, if you have your own strategy, stick to your own analysis. So I'll also be interested to know what bias you guys have for the market today and what players you have on watch. Yes, you can clearly see I have a bullish bias for today's session on GJ, and also on the intraday I have a long bias on gold, as I've already gone through. You can quickly just go back to around the start of the stream, maybe 10 minutes after the start of the stream, and you can get my analysis. But I will go through the gold forecast again. For now, I want to focus price action on this GJ entry that I do have, just in case there's anyone who's interested in taking this long with me. Now, as I've said, if you take the trade, be prepared for 2 outcomes or even 3. We might get a win, might get a loss, or we might get a break-even trade. Let me just take a quick look at what's happening on gold. Remember, on gold, it's on the intraday level, so we're still waiting. As I've said, let me just do the quick breakdown on gold for those who are joining. Now, this is the only pair I have on watch for the intraday strategy. So best just meaning the 5-minute chart. So we had this market that had been pushing lower for quite a while, and now we've got this sort of a descending nature as price is trying to push lower. We did break this low and we retraced, so we might get continuation of this sort of a descending nature before we get the impulsive push. But either way, I'm waiting for an impulsive push coming out of the descending nature, which might continue for a while before we get that impulsive push. But that is basically what I'm looking for on gold. What bias do you guys have on gold or any other pairs that you're trading today? If you have any pair that you'd like me to take a look at, also let me know. But for now, I'm going to focus price action on GJ, pound JPY, where I have a long entry. So price is now just hovering in and around my entry. And as I've said, in case you want to also get involved with this long, you can take the trade in and around this time, because price is still around my entry, and have a 30 pip stop just to mitigate your losses in case we are wrong about the direction of the trade, or price decides to even push a little bit lower before we get the push to the upside. But for now, I'm in on this GJ long, which is a high probability setup based on the way that I trade. And if you've seen my live streams long enough, then you know that I like to see such price action. And I'm normally looking for imbalances in buying and selling pressure to take advantage of trending markets. I'd also like to know where you guys are joining us from. Yesterday's market was very corrective. I was on the stream for 4 hours. We did not get any entry. But for today, we already have this GJ entry. And this is a swing approach entry. I'm going to wait and see if we're going to get an opportunity on gold. But for today, I'd like to live stream for the London session, the first 2 hours of the London session, and then I'll be back again for the New York session, because we have a very clear day without any high impact news, so I can live stream the New York session. Now, for those of you who are constant viewers of the stream, then I know you've noticed the change in the background. Today I'm using the dark themed layout on TradingView, and in case you are interested in this sort of a layout, you can let me know. I just show you real quick the settings. Now this is a trade that we just need some patience to manage, because price action on the 1 hour does not move as fast as you are used to on the 5 minute. That's why I normally classify these entries on the 1 hour as swing entries. But they're the most ideal sort of trading setups or trading strategy for someone who has a 9 to 5, or you have another job you're doing or a business, so that you can actually trade, because on the intraday levels, when you're trading on the 5 minute, it will be very difficult to trade while still doing a 9 to 5 or running another business. But on the 1 hour time frame, you really get to look at the charts. You just need to do your analysis maybe on the weekend, get the pairs that you have on watch, and then for the week it's just about looking at the charts maybe once or twice in a day. So for this particular pair that we have on GJ, this is a swing entry, and as I've said, if you continue pushing higher, I'll have to manage the trade for a few hours or even a few days. But in case you're interested in taking this long with me, then price is still inside, it's still around my entry area, just slightly in drawdown. So you can take the trade and make sure you have a stop loss, a 30 pip stop, and then be prepared for two outcomes, a win or a loss or even a break even. That's why I always insist on having the stop loss. Waiting for more price development. Okay. You're waiting for more price development. What pair do you have on watch? I like it when I see people being patient and waiting for their setups and for price to come to their area. And how's your trading week so far? For those of you who've been able to take trades this week, do you have a green week or a red week? Or are you at break even? At least today we have a trade to even manage. Yesterday was very corrective price action. How many of you are able to take advantage of the volatility we got from the PPI release? Because this push that you're seeing right here, this impulsive push, we had the CPI being released on this candle, and then afterwards we just seen how the market reacted. Now this is on GJ, so I don't expect the PPI to have such a high impact on the yen pairs, but I think this was more of a reaction on pound, with a lot of strength on the pound, because we also had this push on pound USD. As you can see, we also had a very strong push, so it had more likely had to do with the strength of the pound more than the release of the PPI. So I've already said I have a long on this GJ in and around this level. So if you want to take the trade, you can take and have a 30 pip stop. Also ensure that you position size correctly. don't risk too much of your capital on one trade. So let me just go and see what's happening on gold. So we are starting to get the bullish or the strong buyers buying pressure that I was waiting for, but still have to wait. So at this point in time, this would allow, I'm still waiting for price to break this high. This is the high I'm looking at. So normally what I'd like to see is 2 or more strong bullish candles breaking that high and just continue to push higher and higher. Then we look for the first pullback to look for continuation into the upside. So as I've said on gold, I was looking for longs, and I'm waiting to see if we're going to get the buying pressure that I'm anticipating for this London session. Now price might continue pushing lower in this sort of a descending nature, so we just have to wait. We've not yet broken that high, so we're waiting for 2 or more candles to break this high. Let me just label it. So if we get 2 or more strong impulsive candles, that will be ideal. But for now, we just have to be patient and wait. And let me know what pairs you have on watch, by the way. So I'm just going to let this play out for maybe 15 minutes. Then we come back, see if we've gotten the push, because I will not, there's no way I'll miss the entry in 15 minutes. We still need maybe like at least around 40 minutes to get an entry, or at least 30 minutes. So let me just go back to the GJ trade, see if we are still in and around that area. Yeah, we're still in and around my entry. So those who are wanting to get involved with this trade, you can't get involved. In fact, you're getting in at a lower price than I did, but always make sure you have a 30 pip stop and you manage risk accordingly. So we've just hit the first hour of the London session or of the live stream. We finished the first 1 hour, heading into the second hour. Now I don't have a lot on watch for today. I'm just going to manage GJ, and then I'm waiting to see if we can get some bullish momentum on gold, because I have a bullish bias. I've already gone through the price action on gold. It still needs a little bit more development. So we're going to give it a little bit of time, but I do have the open trade on GJ, which is ideal. And on GJ, this is more of a swing entry that I might need to hold for a few hours or maybe even a few days. Now, if I'm wrong about this trade and we get a reversal, we don't get continuation of momentum, then I'm glad to be tagged out at this level for 1% loss. But in case price continues to push higher, then I'll have to manage the trade for a few hours. Now I don't have to sit and stare at the screen, especially on the swing approach, which is really ideal because every candle takes 1 hour to play out, so you don't really need to be on the computer screen managing the trade. You can just monitor the chart at the top of every hour, just seeing if you need to move your stop or if you need to lock in profits. So today I want to keep it the two hours, the London session, so that I can be back for the New York session for another 2 hours. Now, if I'm in on the, if I'll still be in on the GJ trade, if price continues to push higher, then probably even during the New York session I'll be managing the trade. But in case I'm wrong about this trade, I'll probably get tagged out during this London session. But as I've said, price is right now still in and around my entry, just in drawdown by a few pips. So in case you want to get also involved in this long, you can take the long and have a 30 pip stop. And if price starts to push higher, then I'm going to show you how we will manage the trade. if you ask me which I prefer the swing approach by the way, because it requires very little time on the screens. You don't get to also place many trades, so it's also a little bit kinder to your emotions. Okay, I think the last time I took an entry on the swing approach was more than 1.5 months ago. You rarely get to get opportunities, but if you do get winning trades, they have a massive ROI. But as I've said, it's also very ideal for someone who has like a 9 to 5, or you're running something else, a business or anything else. Then you can't trade on the intraday, or you can't scalp the markets because you can't be as active as you need to trade on the intraday. So you need an approach that does not require too much of your time in terms of executing and managing trades. So a swing approach will be ideal in that instance. Okay, so I'm just going to take a very quick break, and then I'll be back. Just maybe 5-10 minutes and I'll be back.
Gas like Margello. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back with the mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she said never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Wanna see us crash and burn. When you take an L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back with the mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob. life. It's the mob life and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Gas like Margiela. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back to back with the mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she say never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Wanna see us crash and burn. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Protect your name and just keep your word. The back with the mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Gas like Margiela. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back to back with the mob. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she say never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. You wanna see us crash and burn. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Yeah. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with the mob, I've been gassing and ducking the law. And I never wanna sit with y'all, I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Yeah. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. Yeah. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel, fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life, and mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted, suited and we booted like it's televised.
Okay, so now I'm back. Had to get a quick coffee break. How many of you have been able to also take the GJ trade? You know that if you did take the trade when I was talking about it, then we are both slightly in drawdown. If you're joining the stream right now, you can still take the trade since it is in around the entry area, but have a 30 pip stop. For me, my stop right now it's at 219.103, and this is because I got in a little bit higher. So if you do get involved right now, you can have even a lower stop by having a 30 pip stop. Now, as I've said, always be open to 2 outcomes or even possibly 3 outcomes, either a win, a loss, or a break-even trade. Taking this trade does not guarantee that it's going to be a win. That's why you should have the stop loss. Quick look at gold. I was waiting for buying pressure. This is on the 5-minute on the intraday, so we've not yet gotten the impulsive push. As I was saying, I still was expecting to see price just pushing lower a little bit in this sort of a descending channel before we get the breakout. But even if we do get the breakout right now, so this will now be the high that I'll be looking at to see how you're going to break this high. But this still needs a little bit more development. But for those joining the stream, I'm currently in on a GJ long. This is an entry on the 1 hour time frame. And right now we are about 0.5% in drawdown. Looking to see if we can get continuation of this impulsive push. Very, very strong impulsive push, I must say. this is a swing entry, so if we don't get tagged out, I'll have to manage this trade for a few hours or even possibly a few days. But if we are to get tagged out, then I don't like to stay in a trade for long in case I'm wrong about the direction of the trade. So when I have my stop at this level, so if you want to get involved with this long, even though right now we are still in some drawdown, you can take the trade at these levels and have a 30 pip stop, or in your instance maybe even a 25 pip stop, because you are getting in at lower prices. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today? Hopefully you can start the push to the upside. This is really an ideal trade. So for those of you who will be wondering why I've taken the trade, you know that I normally look for an imbalance in buying and selling pressure. So whenever you get a market that is probably moving sideways, or we break a pivot high that I'm looking at, I'm looking to see how we break that high. So this was the pivot high I was looking at, and you can see just how impulsively we've broken that pivot high. Strong bullish candles, consecutive bullish candles in the push to the upside, and then we got the small pullback, small corrective candles, and I was supposed to take the trade at 3 a.m. London time, 3 a.m. London time, which was around 5 a.m. Kenyan time. But this was we had news coming out at 7 a.m. London time, so this was supposed to be the candle in which I was taking the trade, but we had news on this candle, this 7 a.m. candle, so I waited for the news, then took the entry, and was able to get the entry at this at 219.403 with a 30 pip stop. Now we are in drawdown, waiting to see if we're going to get tagged out or if price is going to continue with the trend that I'm anticipating. Okay. Let's see if we're going to get tagged out of this trade or if we're going to survive. Hopefully we can get some reaction of the low of this candle. We continue pushing lower, then probably we're going to get tagged out. So right now I'm down about 0.6%, 0.7. As I said, if you took the trade, you needed to be ready for two outcomes, a loss or a win. But I think we're still waiting to see if you're going to get tagged out. As I said, this is a long entry. I'm looking to see if we can push prices higher for the rest of the day. And if that is the case, then we'll have to manage this trade for a few hours. But if I'm wrong, then I'm also going to be in and out of the trade maybe one or two within the next 1 or 2 candles if price does decide to reverse. Because once you get an impulsive push, we look for the pullback to see if we can take long entries. See, after the pullback we get continuation of momentum. Now sometimes it plays out and we get continuation of momentum, but in case we get an impulsive push and the pullback fails and price starts to push lower, I like to get out of the trade as fast as possible, and I don't try to start now looking for other entries as price is at a lower price. No, for me, once I take this trade and the first pullback and the entry on the pullback doesn't work, I don't like to force trades. I'll just wait for another trade setup. So for now I have my entry. I'm already in the trade and already have my predetermined stop. There's nothing more I can do about this trade other than to just give it some time to play out. So I'll only start to manage this trade once we break this high, but even then I might still need to wait a little bit more before I can move my stops to break even. I'd like to see price moving by a significant distance at least before I can move my stops to break even, but for now I've not been given the opportunity to move my stops. I'm still going to wait and see if price is going to push higher or if I'm going to get tagged out. Now if you want to risk it and be on this trade with me, but right now since you are already in drawdown, it's better to just stay out. But for those of us who got involved, let's just hold our stops and hopefully price does not hit the stop before start pushing higher. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat and let's engage. How many of you by the way have been able to take the trade with me? Or when the price was around this area? We also have on watch on what's happening on gold. I have a long bias on gold for today. I'll be looking for longs, but we still need a little bit more price development on gold. Sorry about that. As I say, whenever I take a trade, continuation trade, I like to see price starting to move in my favor immediately. I don't like price hovering around the entry area, so hopefully right now, because we've taken out the lows of this candle, we can get a reaction and start to push higher. If you continue pushing lower, then I'm going to get tagged out. As I said at the start of the stream, the good thing today is we don't have any high impact news being released again, since that high impact news on pound at around 7 a.m. we don't have any other high impact news being released, so it is an ideal trading day. Well, unless Trump decides to tweet something like that. It's so crazy that nowadays you have to be worried about tweets from Trump. So I also like to look at although I have a watch on the high impact news being released here, also look at the latest stories. So this was just the news coming out of the UK. You can see here, this is the hot story. This was 7 hours ago from Trump. Iran has allowed an American who was detained in 2022 to leave the country, but that is not really significant news. Whenever Trump announces a ceasefire, that's when he gets spikes in prices. So for now, unless we get such a tweet from Trump, we do not have any high impact news to worry about for today's London session and also for the New York session. So I've not yet been tagged out of the trade. We're holding this level. So this level is very important. If we get a reaction and we start pushing upwards, we're probably going to continue with the move. But if we continue pushing lower, then I'm going to get tagged out. And we might get even a complete reversal of this push. But sometimes price might even go lower before we start the uptrend. But for me, my entry trigger was at this candle, and I got in after the release of the GDP month to month on pound. I got in on this candle at this level at 219.403. I've also noticed that most of you are active during the New York session, not so much during the London. I don't know maybe most people's preference is to trade the New York session. So if you're joining, I'm currently in on this GJ long, which is in drawdown. We have not yet been tagged out of the trade, but we are almost getting tagged out. If this candle does not tag me out and we get a reversal now, I'm so used to doing the live streams on using the while trading the intraday, so I normally get used to the 5-minute candle playing out real quick. So sometimes I just have to remind myself and also to remind you that this is a 1-hour candle. Still have 30 minutes for this candle to close. So let's wait and see how this candle is going to close. Are we going to come lower, tag us out, or are we going to get the reversal and start pushing higher? Let me just take a quick look at what's happening on gold. Remember, on gold, we are looking at the intraday levels or the intraday strategy. I'm waiting for an impulsive push breaking this high, so still need to give it a little bit of time. We're just about to break that high. So normally what I like to see, 2 or more impulsive bullish candles, and then small corrective pullback. So this is what I'm waiting to see. We've already broken the high with this candle. Now I'd like to see another strong bullish candle to confirm momentum. So let's see how we're going to break this high. But generally on gold for today, I'm looking for longs, seeing if you can get a strong breakout. I'm looking for a pullback to see if we can take prices higher. They'll be wary of these levels over here, previous highs from the New York session, or just before the spread hours. I'd like to look at my intraday levels and charts from 8 p.m. the previous night, or from the previous session, the previous day's session, seeing what happened during the New York session, so the Asian session, and then I can make my analysis and form a bias for the London session. So I don't know how many of you guys trade gold, and what's your bias for gold today. So you can leave your bias for the day on the poll, and then it will close in maybe 20 minutes. So we broke, then we retraced, so we have to wait for the buying pressure to kick in. Remember, it's about how we break the high. If you don't break with strong momentum and you get continuation of buying pressure with consecutive bullish candles, then I'll not look to see if I can take continuation entries. Now, if this candle is very bullish and we close even maybe at these levels, then I'll start to look for continuation entries. But for now, we have to wait and see how this candle is going to close. So let me try have the split screen so that I can monitor both the GJ trade. So for gold, we're waiting for an impulsive close of this candle. We need this candle to push us higher and higher. If we get this close below this close of this other candle, then we might need to be a little bit more patient. Let me see if I can use this one better off. Yeah. So we are just closed above that high. Let me just use this symbol. Now we've gotten continuation of momentum, but we've not yet gotten the imbalance I'm looking for. Remember, I'm waiting to see for a clear imbalance in buying and selling pressure, and that will manifest itself in strong bullish candles. You see this strong push, but this is bearish. I'm looking for a similar move, but now to the upside with strong bullish candles. So the blue candles are the bullish candles, the light blue candles. So I'm looking for two very strong bullish candles, or even one, because we've already broken the high and we're continuing to push higher, but we've not yet gotten the commitment I'm looking for before I can start to look for entries on the pullback. We are getting some buying pressure, but it's not enough. We've not yet gotten the really strong bullish candle. And when we do get the strong bullish candle, even you yourself will be able to just see it clearly. we don't have enough strength in the buyers. We haven't yet gotten enough buying pressure, so we're still waiting to see, because these candles, both of these candles have broken this high, and we've gotten continuation of the push with this candle closing, this particular candle closing about, not closing, this candle breaking the high of this candle. You can see this was the high, but this candle even went a little bit higher. Although we closed lower, it's still continuation of the push. So I'm waiting for the confirmation candle. We're still waiting to see if we can get a really strong bullish candle before we can start to look for pullback. Before we can start to look for the pullback to take long entries. So as we wait for that, let me just see if we have been tagged out on the GJ trade. So we are still around that area. As I said, this is an important level here right now. If we break this low, and see we are still hovering in and around that area. I'm going to give the gold setup maybe 10 minutes, see if we can get the impulsive push I'm looking for. But for now, in case you're just joining the stream, I am in on this GJ long, got in at 219.403 with a 30 pip stop. If you still want to risk it and get involved, you can take the long and have a 30 pip stop. But for me, I'm still right now in drawdown, maybe 0.5% drawdown on the trade. My stop is still at 219.103. So if you do decide to take the risk, make sure you position size accordingly. Probably just risk 1% of your capital and have a 30 pip stop. As I said, price action on the 1 hour time frame takes a long time to play out. So this is a swing entry. Still waiting on a little bit more price development on gold to see if we can get the, I'm still waiting for the impulsive push coming out of the descending channel or descending nature. Let me just quickly look at it. Yeah, we have not yet gotten the commitment I was looking for, so we'll have to be a little bit patient with the setup on gold. But the good thing is we have the long entry on GJ. Now I'm going to at least give this a little bit of time to play out, maybe 15 minutes, and then we can come back and check on their progress. But for now, let's focus on this price action on GJ, just for those who might also be interested in taking the longs with us or with me. I got in at these levels. Price is lower, so if you also still want to get involved on this long, you can take the trade, but make sure you have a 30 pip stop. You'll have a lower stop than I do, but for me I got involved at 219.403 and I just have to manage the trade. I already have my stop, so if price decides to push lower, I'll be tagged out at this level and I'll live to fight another day. Seems the internet is acting up. Hopefully you can maintain a good streaming session. So for today, I actually have just gold on my watch list for the London session. The other pairs were really corrective. Maybe we might get a little bit better price action during the New York session. But for now, I already have a long on GJ, so that's completely fine. And that's why I like to mix it up, have the swing approach and the intraday. Now, if price starts to push higher, as I've said, because this is a swing entry, I will start to manage the trade accordingly, and I might need to manage the trade for a few hours or even throughout the night into the next day. But that does not mean that I'll be actively sitting at the charts. I'll be sitting staring at the charts. No. With the swing approach, I only need to look at the chart at the top of the hour just for maybe 2 minutes to see if I need to move my stop or not. At night I can even go to sleep as long as price is in profit and I already have my levels, my stops. I've moved my stop. I just wake up in the morning and see if I've been taken out or if I need to manage the trade even more by moving the stop. So for now, I've not yet gotten the chance to manage the trade. I got in at 219.403. I had a predetermined stop at 219.103, and for now there's nothing I can do apart from waiting for the price to play out and see if I'm going to be tagged out for a 1% loss or if I'm going to get an opportunity to lock in profits as price continues to push higher. If I don't end up taking any other trade, but this trades continues to push higher, I'll be completely fine with it. So we are approaching the close of the 2-hour mark. So for the first 2 hours of the London session for today, we've not taken any entry on the intraday, but we did take a trade just before the start of the London session on the swing approach, and it was this GJ trade that is now running slightly in drawdown, and we're going to wait and see how price is going to play out. I don't know how many of you are able to take this trade with me, because at the start of the live stream price was just in and around my entry, and I did let you know that if you wanted to take the trade, you could take it with a 30 pip stop. going to look at gold at the top of the hour. So I'm going to give it a little bit more, maybe 10 more minutes before I look at price action on gold. See if we've gotten the impulsive push I was looking for. I'd be interested to know what pairs you guys have on watch. Have you taken any trades? Or in case you want me to look at a certain pair and break it down for you, you can also let me know. So I'll be closing the poll in 2 minutes just to see the overall bias that you guys have. Seems you're getting some issues with the internet. Hopefully can hold. Okay, so we've not yet gotten the push coming out of this area that I was hoping for, but let's still wait and see because I've not yet been tagged out of that trade as of yet. So let me just now look at what's happening on gold. If you've gotten the impulsive push, I was hoping to do the London session live stream for 2 hours and then I'll be back for the New York session. And so for these first few hours, we've not yet gotten the push I was looking for. In fact, right now I have to move my high to this level. So I'll wait to see if we can get the impulsive push, breaking this high. But the bias is still on. Nothing has changed in terms of the market structure. If we do get the impulsive push with 2 more impulsive bullish candles and a small corrective pullback, I'll be looking to see if I can get a long entry to take prices higher. We have quite a distance to cover before we can hit these tops. So we might get a good trade if we get the impulsive push and we get the corrective pullback. But we still have to be patient for the buying pressure to kick into the market. Now, we might get this price action during the London session, or we might have to wait until maybe the New York session. So we've just completed the first 2 hours of the London session live stream. For those joining, I'm currently in on we're waiting for price action on gold to see if we can get an impulsive push to the upside. I'm looking for longs on gold on the intraday strategy, and this is the only possible pair that I have on watch for the London session. Things might change during the New York session, but for London session, we're waiting for an impulsive push coming out of this descending nature to see if we can take longs. But I'm currently in on this GJ long, and this is an entry on the swing approach. So currently running in drawdown slightly, maybe 0.5% in drawdown, and I've taken this trade because of this impulsive push. Once you get this very strong impulsive push coming out of this pivot high, it's now waiting to see if we can get a small corrective pullback for price to continue pushing higher, and we got the corrective pullback, and I got my entry in and around this level at 219.403 with a stop at 219.103. Basically, I have a 30 pip stop. So we are going to wait and see how this price is going to play out. If you're going to get an opportunity to manage the trade, if prices starts to push higher, then we can start to manage the trade and even move my stop to break even. And if the trend continues as I'm expecting with the trade that I've placed, then we'll be able to manage the trade as price continues to push higher. So, have any of you taken any trades today, and what pairs do you have on watch? The internet is really acting up. My internet speeds are really slow. I don't know what's up with this service provider. So we've had the close of that hourly candle. Now we start the next hourly candle. Hopefully we can get a bullish. If we get just one candle like this, I'll be able to move my stops to break even. one strong candle, if you get just two strong candles like this, we're probably going to now start to manage the trade. So the stream is back now. The internet is back, okay. So I'm going to try and see if I can maybe just stay on a little bit longer for maybe another 1 hour. Hopefully the internet does not act up. So for today, I'm just waiting to see if I can get the chance to manage this GJ trade, and if we can get some buying pressure on gold to see if we can take longs. So currently I'm in on this GJ long, which is rallying in drawdown at around 0.5% in drawdown. I have a stop loss at 219.103 with a maximum risk of 1%. So right now we are halfway there, so we are down 0.5%. So this is an entry on the swing approach. We are just starting to get very small buying, small buying pressure now. We still have to wait for this candle to close. Now this is a 1 hour candle and this is the hourly chart. So it actually takes an entire 1 hour for the candle to close. Not like in the 5-minute chart where the candle just takes 5 minutes to play out. So that's why this is a swing approach, and you have to be really patient with this sort of entries. But the good thing is they give you enough opportunity to do other things without having to stare at the chart. Like with this particular entry, I'll just need to look at the charts maybe at the top of the hour to see if I need to move my stops. you only need to, and in case you don't have any trade running, you only need to look at the charts maybe 1 or 2 times in a day. Quickly look at gold, see if you've gotten some buying pressure. Not yet. Still have to, let me give it another 15 minutes before we can come back and check on the price action, see if we are going to get that impulsive push I'm looking for. Remember, I'm looking for longs on gold. So I don't know what pairs do you guys have on watch for today's London session. Have you even taken any trades, or are still waiting for price to develop like myself? Now I do have the open trade. I do have the trade running on GJ, but that's a swing entry. On the intraday, I've not taken any trades. The markets were largely very corrective, and we only have one pair on watch, which is gold. I had the NAS on potential watch, but right now the focus is on gold, waiting for that impulsive bullish momentum to come in. But on GJ, I'm running in drawdown right now. The trade is in drawdown. I've not yet gotten any chance to manage this trade. What do you guys think? Do you think you're going to get tagged out? I've already broken down the reasons for taking this trade at the start of the stream, as I normally do at the start of every session. As I normally say, I don't like to see price hovering around my entry for too long after taking the trade. I like to see an immediate reaction. So it's not ideal that we are hovering in and around my entry. But as I always say, my strategy has a low strike rate. So even if this trade ends up being a loss, it is just completely fine. Both the intraday and the swing have around maybe 30% win rate. So with that, you can say that you would expect to take more losses than wins. But with the wins, I do get to get a high risk reward, which can offset the losses that I do take. So have I been tagged out of this trade, or am I still surviving? So I'm still in the trade, but around 0.7% in drawdown. Barely surviving, just by a few pips. If you have any questions, as always, let's engage in the chart. Also, if you have any pair you'd like me to look at, you can also let me know. So for those joining, I also have a watch on gold on the intraday levels, or not even on the levels, on the intraday strategy, and I'm waiting for some bullish momentum, impulse bullish momentum, and I'll just go back and relook at that chart and break it down for you in a few. I'm just giving it a little bit of time for price action to develop. For now, we are down around 0.7% on this GJ trade. Price is just in and around, almost getting to my stop. I'm not going to move my stop. That was my predetermined stop. So if you do get tagged out, it's okay. I'm not going to start moving my stop lower because we are approaching the stop. That just leads to more losses, because I've already position sized this trade to only have a risk exposure of 1%. If you start moving your stop, then it means you're adding more exposure on this particular trade. So it's good if I'm wrong, let me just get tagged out and I'll live with it. Even if you get tagged out and then price continues to push higher, that will be just part and parcel of trading. But what I do know is if this price starts to push higher, this can be a monster trade with enormous ROI. I'm going to have a quick look at gold in a few. I wanted to give it like 15 minutes to see if we can get 2 or 3 consecutive bullish candles. Then we can start to see if we can get the pullback. But for now, price action is going to focus on the GJ. See if I'm going to get tagged out of this trade. Remember, the wins and the losses, you'll be able to see them on the live stream, completely unfiltered. This internet better hold up. Don't like these games it's playing. Let me just have that quick look on gold. Remember, on gold I'm looking at the intraday, so we've not yet gotten the impulsive push. Still have to wait for maybe 2 or 3 candles. So I'll be back. I'm going to come back after another 10 minutes, see how price has developed or developed. Let me just focus on the 1 hour right now because we're about to get tagged out of this trade. We have not yet been tagged out. I really like that my broker has good spread, so have we been tagged out? Let me check real quick. So we have been tagged out of this trade. So this is a negative 1% loss for today's live stream. And see, from this chart we did not quite hit, but maybe it's just lagging. But that's completely fine. As I said at the start, you need to be ready for 2 outcomes. So if it's a loss, you make sure you're in and out with minimum risk. So that's a 1% loss on GJ. And man, these market conditions are really tough to trade. So just take the losses. don't create too much of a fuss out of taking the loss. So this is a loss, and it was a high probability trade. So that's how I do assess my performance. Was the trade high probability? If the trade was a high probability, then there's nothing more I could have done. So now that I've been taken out of this trade, my focus is going to shift on price action on gold. Let me just take a quick look at the other pairs, see if there's been any developments. So with pound, we're going to wait and see if you're going to get strong momentum to the downside. If you can get that continuation of momentum, I'll be looking to short. I think this will also be similar to what I'll be looking at on GJ, now that I've been tagged out of this GJ trade. Now, are we going to continue with the push to the downside on GJ? So I'll be looking to short GJ, but also if we break outside of this consolidation with a lot of momentum to the upside, I'll also reassess. But for now, if you can get strong selling pressure, I'll be looking for shorts. Take prices lower, but we still need a lot of time for price to develop. On ODUSD, no. USD no, at this moment. I might be interested in Euro JPY. See if we can break up outside of this consolidation. See if we can take shots. Now we need to break outside impulsively. Alternatively, with this particular pair, even if we also break outside impulsively to the upside, I'll be looking for longs to see if we can get an entry on the first pullback after that first impulsive push. But a short will be really ideal because it will align with the Wyckoff's market cycles, where we've gotten a trending market, then we've gotten a distribution at the top where we get the buyers getting exhausted. So if I get to see signs of strong selling pressure, I'll be all over short entries if you can get the entry trigger. So just mark this out. You can see just how quickly I do my analysis. So I'd like to see how we're going to break outside of this consolidation. Also how we're going to break out of this consolidation. And also how you're going to break out of this consolidation here. So these are the currency pairs I have on watch, as well as gold. Silver not so much. I had a watch on NAS, but I won't be looking at it anymore. We've broken outside of the consolidation and we've reversed. Okay, so for the pairs on watch, as we head into the third hour of the New York session, the London session, and as we head into the New York session, later on will be gold. I'm looking for longs coming out of this descending nature. Still waiting for the buyers to kick into the market. We might need a little bit more development. Price might consolidate for a while before we get the impulsive push. But on GJ and Euro JPY, I'm looking for impulses coming out of the consolidations, most likely to the downside. But if we do get alternative or contradictory price action and we get an impulsive push to the upside, I'll also reassess. On pound USD, I'm also waiting to see if we can continue this push to the downside impulsively. We've already started pushing lower, so it's about getting that strong selling pressure. So what I'm waiting for right now, because we started to push lower, I'm waiting to see if we can get two or more strong bearish candles, and then we wait for a small corrective pullback to take shots. So that's what I'm looking at on pound USD, waiting for that selling pressure. Same with Euro JPY, strong impulsive pressure coming out of the consolidation, and similar on GJ, strong selling pressure. We don't need to get this continuation of momentum, but it needs to be very strong selling pressure. I've already taken a loss on GJ on the 1 hour time frame or the swing approach. So it's now, I'm now switching my focus to the intraday strategy to see if we can get opportunities during this session, the London session, or even during the New York session. Yeah, what's up, Alex? I also wanted to take the same trade that GJ, but I started incorporating the 4 hour candle. Can't take a buy unless the previous 4 hour candle was bullish, just for momentum purposes. Yeah, I do agree with you. When you're doing in case you like to do top-down analysis, then maybe you might need to confirm on the 4 hour. For me, I just like to trade the price cycles on one particular time frame. I normally don't look at the 4 hour candle, but I have traded before a strategy that utilized the top-down analysis or multi-time frame analysis, and I do get the reasoning for waiting for the 4 hour candle. It's completely right to wait for or to look for confirmation on the higher time frame. At least you didn't take the L. So for me, I've taken the loss on that GJ. It's just fine. So right now I'm looking to see, we are starting to get the drop off. So you can see how quickly I've moved on to the intraday with a very completely different bias to what I had in the 1 hour time frame. We are getting the drop, but we've not yet gotten confirmation of momentum. Let me just look at that 4-hour candle on GJ. On the 4-hour chart, I mean. Okay, I'm not sure what you say on the 4-hour. Just focus now on the intraday levels or the intraday charts. So I'm waiting to see how this candle is going to close, because this will have been the low I was looking at. I'm waiting to see how I like the progress I'm seeing right now on this candle. So are we going to get a strong candle close? I'll start to look for shorts, setups, that is. Let's look at what's happening on Euro JPY. With Euro JPY, we are still in the consolidation. Nothing has changed. And on Pound USD, yeah, we're getting the sell-off. Strong selling pressure similar to GJ, so I'll be waiting to see if I can take short entries on GJ or on Pound USD, depending on whether I'm going to get the setup. So waiting to see if we can take shorts on GJ or on Pound USD. I'm liking this price action, but we still have to wait for this candle to close. If we get a strong bearish candle, it aligns with what I was looking for, 2 or more strong bearish candles, then the small corrective pullback. Still have to wait for this candle to close very strongly. I don't want to see it retracing the way it is and closing with a large wick. So are you looking to take any other trades today? Or what other pairs do you have on watch? So if this candle closes like this, then this won't be the confirmation candle. I'll still have to wait for another strong bearish candle. So you can see this candle has closed with a very large wick. So we still have to wait for the confirmation. There is no confirmation of the impulsive push. So this candle is very important. We want to see this candle closing below, not even closing, pushing below this candle first of all, and even closing below this low with a strong bearish candle close. If you don't get this continuation of momentum, then we'll have to wait a little bit more for price to develop, and I'll move my pivot lows. So right now this was the low, right now it's at this level, so I'm looking to see if this candle, the current candle, can break this low. This will be the pivot high. So right now I'm waiting to see if this candle can break this low and we get a strong bearish candle close. This is on pound USD. On GJ, we even got an even worse candle close. So hopefully we can get this candle continue to push low. If we close like this, then this push might not be sustained and we may get a reversal similar on pound USD. On Euro JPY, price was still inside of the range, so we still need a little bit more price development. But right now it's all about how this candle is going to close. If we close like this, if you don't get continuation of momentum, then we'll have to reassess the short bias on GJ or have to wait a little bit more. Have we gotten the push on gold? Not yet. It's very important how this candle closes, both on GJ and on pound USD. If we get this sort of a candle, then most likely we are going to either reverse or settle into some sort of a range. Seems this candle is not going to break this low, so this is a counter trend candle, meaning that we've not gotten the continuation of the push to the downside, and right now most likely than not we are going to reverse. We are going to settle into some sort of a range. So at this point in time, this is no longer I have on high priority. It will need a little bit more development. Let's look at how pound USD closed. It's almost similar. It's just similar price action most likely. So with pound USD, we still have a potential that we can still break this low and continue pushing lower. But because we did not get confirmation of momentum, I'll not be looking for pullback entries right now, because we might just reverse in price, come take out this high, then start to range. So the only thing that will make me look for shorts on pound USD if we now break this low, but we now break again with 2 or more strong bearish candles. Now that might not that may need a little bit more time to develop based on the price action I'm seeing with this push not getting sustained. So I might need a little bit more development on the pound pairs as well as on gold. So the most likely pair to play out of all these three will be Euro JPY, because with Euro JPY we did not get the break and get a failure. We're still inside of the consolidation or the range. So if we do break outside impulsively to the upside, I'll also be looking to take trades. It's not like I'm only looking for shorts on this. It depends on how it's going to break outside. The most ideal scenario would be for it to break impulsively to the downside. But if we also get an impulsive break to the upside, I'll be looking to see if I can get entries on the first pullback. So we might get this price action during the New York session, and see right now it's almost 1, so we're about 2 hours from the start of the New York session. If we don't get these moves during the London session, we'll have to wait and see if we can get these moves during the New York session. And for today, I will be doing also the New York session live stream. For GJ, we look for sales from 219.5 in case price does not break that zone. Let me just look at that. So you're looking at sales around this area. I can see the reasoning because this is now a potential area of support. You can get some resistance here, you can get some selling pressure. So I will get, if you were to look for shorts in and around say 29.5, in and around this area with stops above this high, I could see where you'll be looking for shorts. So yeah, that makes sense. So as I've said, because we did not get this sustained push to the downside, it's possible we get a reversal and we can come and tap those areas you're talking about before we get the sell-off. But at least we have almost the same buyers on GJ. Is that what you're looking for? But I can definitely see the reasons for taking the shorts at these levels. These are no longer high priority. We still need a little bit more development. We'll also wait to see if we can get shorts on Euro JPY once we break outside of this consolidation. But if we break outside impulsively, I'll also be looking to take longs. So that's what I'm looking at heading into the New York session. We are 2 hours away from the New York session, so We might also get these moves during this next 2 hours before the New York session. So what other pairs do you guys have on watch? Have I'm assuming if you are using support and resistance, you could also look at these potential areas for shorting, because you have resistance levels here at the top. So just to reiterate, I'm waiting to see if we can break outside of this consolidation to the upside or to the downside, because I like to see markets that are in an equilibrium, just moving sideways. Then I look for the imbalance in buying and selling pressure. So what I'll be looking for is an impulse coming out of the consolidation, either to the downside or to the upside. If we get the break to the downside, it will be really ideal, because it will align with the Wyckoff's market cycles, where we get an uptrend, a distribution followed by a downtrending market. But if we get continuation of momentum to the upside, then it will also be really ideal, because we will be getting an impulsive push coming out of a range or a consolidation, which is what I like to look for in the trades that I take. Now with GJ, I'll be looking to see if we can break this low now. Can we break this low impulsively and continue to push lower? And then we can look for an entry on that first pullback to take prices lower. We might get a market that is going to be ranging, might pull back, get into these areas, and even tap that area that you are talking about at 219,500 there, and then price reverses. So on gold, I'm waiting to see if we can get some bullish momentum, strong buying pressure coming out of this area, then we can look for longs. So that's what I'll be looking for the next 2 hours of the London session as we head into the New York session. Now, unless you have any questions, I'll be ending this London session live stream, and then we can catch back. You can catch me on at 3 p.m. Kenyan time at the start of the New York session. So, do you guys have any questions? We can come back for the New York session live stream and see if the setups you are looking for play out or the market will still be in a consolidation. Okay, seems there are no questions now. I'll end the chat right around now. We can reconnect during the New York session live stream. I already have my forecast and what I'll be looking for. So we'll connect during the New York session, see if we've gotten the price action we were looking for. And if we will be able to take some trades during the New York session. That said, I'll see you guys in the New York session.